All right, what is up? What is up, Birdland? Uh, whew. Big stuff happening with the trade deadline, and my apologies. I'm doing a lot of traveling. Worked a full day today. Drove from Ocean City to Hartford County, Maryland, and then heading out to West Virginia tomorrow. So, gonna crash right after this, but I'm at my cousin's place in the guest room. Um, so, apologies on the delay in talking about this, but definitely wanted to get back and not putting on the hat so you can see my bald head. First time that a lot of you probably seen it. But yeah, kind of crazy day, and I do want to say I always appreciate the interactions on Twitter, right? And I apologize if I do come across like you know, I'm not trying to be condescending in any sort of tone or anything like that. So my apologies. I mean, I generally do respect people's opinions as long as you're respectful and don't make personal attacks on anybody. You know, good debate is fine, but um, I would have loved the Orioles to have been sellers. Now I kind of got duped, right? I thought, hey, this team's in the wild card. You know, all the other times that we quote unquote sold, we were, you know, completely bad, right? So expected more on the deadline as far as adding to this roster. Wasn't expecting major impacts, right? I know I kept saying, hey, I wanted Emerson Hancock, I wanted this person and this person, so on and so forth. We didn't get that, and when Elias does something good, I'll give him credit. When he doesn't, I'll criticize him. He dropped the ball there on not adding to this roster 1000%. And, I don't care if he lied or whatever. I'm a grown adult. I know people in this business are going to lie. People in that business are going to lie all the time. He doesn't owe us anything as much as we think that they do to be truthful with us. We're not the ones signing his paper. So we would like to have an honest, kind of, hey, here's what's going to happen. But, you know, that wasn't the case. And, we've seen this team where we do need to, I mean, I don't think it's a playoff team that's constructed, right? But, hey, he did. And for whatever reason, they chose not to add to the roster and they didn't. The one thing I can get behind, and, I kind of understand everyone's frustration, right? I've been saying it for about a year now, and kind of going on some podcasts and on anytime I've had guests on, you got to trade Adley. You have to trade Adley. You have to trade Adley. I was told, no way, Marco. It's never going to happen. They shouldn't do it. They shouldn't do it. But here we are. I mean, I didn't think that it would happen, right? And it did. Baltimore baseball, making us, somewhat relevant again. Came in 2022. We didn't get swept in the series for your first like 100 something series with you. Our win percentage with you is good, but you know, I appreciate all that. And you're a good guy, good in the community. Enjoy Boston. We'll miss you, but I mean, this is a business, and the sooner that people understand that, the sooner that they will realize what a haul that this was, right? So Ryan Ripken, who we all respect, like he does a great show, great media network, super, super knowledgeable about this team. He would have no reason to stick up for Elias, no reason to defend him. He doesn't get anything out of it. He came out and said that the Orioles offered Adley an extension, and him and his representative said, absolutely not, no way. Okay, so you're going to have a guy who's got a year and a half left of free agency who has already, or a year and a half left till free agency, who already told you he's not going to sign long term here for unless it's for an exorbitant amount, right? Okay. So that's the kind of player that you trade. You trade them now before it gets to, you know, they only have half a year of control and then you get nothing for them. Or you don't trade them, they walk, you get a draft pick. It's good business to do that. It's good business to do that. You also have a guy who, quite frankly, all the stuff I mentioned earlier about being a good guy, you know, Seemed to be a winning player for us for a while. Look at them. Remember how bad that he was in that second half when he played hurt. What was it, in 2024 after the home run derby? He was awful. He's been on the IL 5 times since 2015, or sorry, 2025, including 3 this year. He wasn't producing for us this year. Everyone says, "Oh, this move's not going to help you in 2026. It's not going to help you in 2026." He wasn't helping us in 2026. He's still on the IL, and guess what? He's probably going to end up there again. So you have a guy who says he's not going to resign here, right? He's going to test free agency. He's constantly hurt. He's not producing the numbers. You have a younger, better version of him already locked up for the next 8 years for a very, very reasonable amount, like who's producing way more than he does, who's 9, 8 years younger than him. I like the guy. I don't know what changed. Like 5 years ago, I was, oh, F this. And like, I love this team. I want them to win more than anything. Like, the Orioles outside my friends and family are, it for me, right? Like they're up here to the Ravens down here for me, right? Like, I mean, if the Orioles won the World Series, it's the greatest day of my life, right? I was born in August of '83, so shout out. Actually, my birthday is on Friday, so shout out to Leo birthdays, August 7th here. But yeah, like I want them to be successful and will mean more to me than anything. But and I don't know what clicked. Maybe it's being on X, and I don't want to say that I'm smarter than anyone because I'm certainly not, right? And like everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I feel like a lot of times we just give guys. It was the same thing with John Harbaugh. We just give Elias, you know, oh f him, f him, f him, and but this wasn't a bad move. Like it was a good move. If you look at baseball wise, it's a good move. Like, imagine if they let Adley walk, right? And they don't re-sign him. And then you get what? Just a draft pick. Then it's, oh, well, we wasted Adley's time. We didn't win anything. And oh, this genius GM lets him walk for okay. So he just got a guy who's immediately our number one prospect. 3 guys in the top 5 in the Red Sox farm system. You know what Tarek Skubal went for? You can go for 3 top 5 prospects in someone's organization. I mean, like the Dodgers, I think maybe I don't know where River Ryan was, but and that's Tarek Skubal. He's been head and shoulders above Adley. Yes, I know he's only got half a year of control left, but I don't know the exact rankings, but I bet you Wood and Gore and Abrams were somewhere near the top 5, if not in the top 5. So that was the same kind of haul that they got for Juan Soto, who was head and shoulders a better player than Adley. Like, I've never been a big prospect guy or a big kind of draft pick guy, and I know I was on here saying when they trade Adley, they're not going to trade him for like just some single or double A guy. And I know 2 of these guys are double A, right? I didn't expect them to trade them for a top 40 prospect overall, and to get that kind of haul. So it is what it is. Yeah, I do think that prospects are a lottery ticket, much like first round draft picks. You don't know how they're going to be. You just don't. Right. But one thing that people I don't think realize is we just assume again, and it goes back. Stockpile now with like Joseph Dwarza and everyone else that we have. You're adding these 3 in there. It's like Brandon Young was an undrafted free agent. Um, Trevor Rogers credits the Orioles to like revitalizing his career. I mean, look how he's been. You know, Shane Baz has a lower ERA than he's finished any year with the Rays with outside of when he made like a few starts. Like they've added a 2 seam onto him, which he didn't even throw last year. Ben McDonald said all this stuff. If you heard what Ben McDonald said on the broadcast, it's like that was development by the Orioles to get him to where he is. Kyle Bradish came over and he's been developed by us. I mean, the pitching 5 or 7 farm system, and now they fell out of the top 10 because of this trade. And we hear, "Oh, well, how's this gonna help us in 2026?" Again, Adley wasn't helping us in 2026. He's been on the IL 3 times. I don't know how many games he's missed, but he's hitting like 220 with 8 homers. Like, and I know homers aren't everything, but like RBI, like, yes, we've seen him get hot and we've seen him where he could kind of carry the team, but like if Adley was pick one, round one, pick 20, would it be, oh my God, we can't trade him? No. And even worse, like, so Casey Mize just went, right? Casey Mize was the number one pick in 2018, Adley in 2019. Two number one picks went. That's what happens. No one would say that, oh my God, you can't trade Casey Mize. Like, they would say he underachieved as number one pick. So did Adley. It is what it is. Yeah. So I hope everybody can get over it. I'm fine. If you want to say screw Elias about a lot of stuff, okay, this was a good deal. If you want to get mad at him for the not adding people, I'm totally fine with that because I'm pissed off about that, right? Like, I mean, I would have loved a Jake McCarthy, a corner outfielder, Mickey Moniak, someone to improve in there, just something, go out and get Reed Detmers and make him your fifth starter, or your fourth starter now, whatever it is. I mean, he would obviously come in and usurp Boz, but like you have a 5-man rotation locked up. But people are saying that, oh, well, Adley, it's the organization's fault for why he's not going to be here. Like, that's why he didn't sign an extension. Well, in the last year, we've had Basayo sign an extension, so he wanted to be here. Pete Alonso signed here in free agency. He wanted to be here. Kyle Bradish just signed an extension. Shane Baz just signed an extension. Yennier Cano just signed an extension. So 4 extensions and one massive, massive free agent that, I don't know how many offers he had, but he's Pete Alonso. Like, he could have said no to the Orioles. He didn't need the money. It's not like we gave him an insane, insane deal that he probably wasn't going to get. So at any point, does Adley get any blame for this? Like, he chose not to sign the extension. The Orioles offered him what they thought was a fair deal. Guess what? Bradish took that deal. So did Shane Baz. So did Samuel Basayo, who I would argue that Bradish and Basayo have performed much better than Adley has. Maybe Basayo is still a little young in his career, but Bradish certainly has. And then Yennier Cano took it, and then it's these people obviously want to be here, right? Like, it's long term, right? So something was going with Adley. He didn't want to be here, and that's his right, right? But it's also makes sense to trade a person who doesn't want to be here. Like it's just good baseball, and to get the haul that we got for him, and welcome to those guys. Yeah, it's I couldn't believe they pulled it off, and I do think the leverage of getting the Yankees involved kind of helped. I haven't heard one person say that this was a great deal for Boston, and inevitably Adley's probably ending up on the IL again. If he doesn't, maybe he comes back in 2 weeks here, helps them in September. Who knows how many playoff games they win? Maybe we don't make the playoffs and we look like idiots for this year, right? But guess what? He's not just turning around and signing an extension with the Red Sox, I don't think. Who knows what they're going to offer him. So it's like, okay, so then if he's gone from half and he's a 30-year-old catcher who's been hurt a bunch of times, hasn't been producing, you're not going to pay him the money that he wants. So the Orioles weren't going to outbid themselves on the extension. They weren't going to. Okay. So that's just, um, maybe they lowballed him, maybe not. We don't know, but we do know that they offered him something. He declined it. He said, "Absolutely not, no way." They wanted no part of it. Was the word. So why keep him? Right? He's this team's been playing without him 5 separate occasions for extended periods. We played without Adley Rutschman, and last year we didn't do fine. But guess what? Like, we've been doing okay without him. He hasn't been producing. So it is what it is. And, Taylor Ward gone, Dean Kramer gone, and thank God Taylor Ward's gone. Like I've never been so wrong about somebody like him coming in, 37 homers, 106 RBI, whatever it was. Just I don't know what the hell happened. Maybe it was the wrist injury. I don't know, but like to go from that to like where you don't even take the bat off your shoulder and you just seem content to just go out there and walk, and you don't seem to be a team player where we wanted you to play third base because in that Angels game and you were the only person who had played third and you said, nope, absolutely not. Nope. So Leody Taveras did it. And that, you know how much that could have cost the team? I mean, kind of right after there, and then we pay you driving runs and you're sitting there just letting straight threes go with the bases. I don't know what the hell happened to him, but for everybody screaming, oh, this is a rebuild, a rebuild, a rebuild, a rebuild. Okay. Here's the players that are still left. Tell me if teams rebuild with these players: Gunnar Henderson, Pete Alonso, Jackson Holiday, Kyle Bradish, Shane Baz. Like, who did we get rid of that wasn't on our team 2 days ago? Adley and Dean Kramer. Well, 3 days ago. Adley, Dean Kramer, Taylor Ward. Taylor Ward was gone after this year anyway. That's not a rebuild like what the Nats did. That was a rebuild. What we've seen the A's do. That's a rebuild. The Rock, those are rebuilds. You're trying to build your team back up. You're literally getting rid of everybody. Minnesota, look what they did at the deadline last year. Sold everybody, right? Like everybody was gone except for Joe Ryan and Byron Buxton. But even that's not a rebuild. You have those guys, right? Like so, you're not rebuilding with Pete Alonso under contract for you. Otherwise, trade him. They didn't trade him. They didn't trade Jackson. They didn't trade Basayo. They didn't trade Bradish. Teams that rebuild or have a fire sale, those guys are all gone. This was you traded Adley Rutschman and you traded an expiring contract in Taylor Ward and you traded a guy Dean Kramer who, if I like that, like that's not a fire sale. And we're rebuilding again. Don't give them any money. Fine. Don't watch the games. Don't. I don't care. That's your right. I understand if you want to do that, but this isn't this team tanking again, right? Like, again, I have an issue with us not improving the roster here, but this wasn't a fire sale. It's one thing to say we didn't buy at the deadline, but to say that we had a fire sale and we're rebuilding again is not accurate. You don't rebuild when you have Pete Alonso, Gunnar Henderson, Kyle Bradish, Samuel Basayo, Jackson Holiday. That you're not rebuilding. You would be rebuilding if you give up your 22-year-old 1-1 pick, right? You would be rebuilding if you give up Gunnar when he's still under contract for a couple more years. If you offload Alonso, that's not a rebuild. I don't know what to call it. It's not. It's a retool. So hopefully this team can make it far. I mean, hopefully we could turn around and I've seen multiple people say this, and I've said it before, and I agree. If Gunnar was playing better, this team would be over 500. For as bad as they've been defensively, for as many managerial mistakes we've seen, for as many just kind of times the offense just went so inept, and we've seen the bullpen come in and blow. When you're a star player who I can guarantee the organization isn't telling him to play poorly, this isn't on upper management. Their computer's not saying, hey, Gunnar, go out there and swing at 3 pitches and don't even have a competitive bat. The computer is not telling them to do that. He's playing poorly. Whatever it is, he's pressing. If Gunnar was even serviceable, I mean, it's tough to say 18 home runs isn't serviceable, but when you're hitting 210 and your OPS was lower than Kobe Mayo's for a while, like, yeah, if Gunnar was even average, this team would be over 500 in the playoffs. So maybe he gets out, maybe they don't. I would have actually loved to have not had to rely on, well, maybe this, maybe that by adding pieces of the deadline. But hey, guess what? Maybe EBJ or Silent J comes up. They start raking. We get Michael Forrest back. He comes in the pen. Who knows? I'm more upset with the lack of adding pieces than I am the Adley trade. And hopefully you guys can all get over the Adley trade. And I get it. Good dude. We get emotionally attached to these players. And I like the guy. I wish him, well, I don't wish him the best because he's in our division. But, I have a feeling that 2 years from now, we'll be saying that the Orioles got the better end of this deal because at least one of these guys will be performing at a level that was much higher than Adley Rutschman's. They'll be cheaper. They're younger. Hopefully one of them's. I mean, the guy that's the one guy who's the outfielder. I mean, he's projected to be an everyday center fielder, like speed, bat, glove. Like you have a couple, and I know these are Fs, right? But Adley wasn't helping us in 2026 because he's been constantly getting hurt. It's not like we traded away Pete Alonso's production. We traded away a guy who's constantly hurt, and if he's not on the IL now, like he'll have a good month, and then guess what? He's on the IL again. Oh, it seems to be slow recovering. He was supposed to be off the IL last Tuesday, like on the 27th or the 28th, whatever day it was. He's not, right? So why is it? Oh, his wrist flared up. Oh, he's doing baseball activities. He might. He's. It's not like he's going to Boston. He's just going to come back tomorrow. Maybe he starts for them tomorrow. I doubt it. So anyway, wish we kind of added on there. Hopefully, we can have a good second half. Let's just go sweep the Angels. I mean, facing Grayson Rodriguez on Wednesday is just wild. I mean, we gotta light him up. But I will be on the Orioles team total over in that game. Hopefully, we can score a run. That'd be a good start. Let's score a run on Tuesday and kind of Adley Rutschman. Have a good night.